If you're like me, when you're laying down your content in your .NET MAUI applications, you want a really good looking card view, something that will really make your application pop. And today I'm going to do a bunch of live coding. Well, on-demand live coding, if you will, because from scratch, we're going to build a full .NET MAUI card view with all brand new controls, borders, shapes, shadows, and all that goodness in .NET MAUI in just a few lines of code. So tune in. Hey everyone, I'm James, and on a recent live stream right here on my YouTube channel, y'all taught me something really amazing, which was how to do a bunch of custom drawing with brand new .NET MAUI controls. Now, in the past with Xamarin Forms, when I wanted a card view, I would use a frame. And a frame was a nice control because it had borders, it had little shadows on it, but it wasn't really super consistent across the different operating systems. And in many of my source code examples, you'll still see frames everywhere. Can't get rid of them. However, y'all taught me that there are brand new controls, including border and shapes and geometry and shadows that I could use to really make a beautiful custom frame card view automatically with no frame control involved. And the reason that we don't want to use a frame is because they're not as performant as some of the new controls. So let's jump into Visual Studio and start coding. All right, here we are inside of Visual Studio 2022. Now, I just did File, New Project. I called it MAUI Card View. That's what we want to create, and we're going to create it. All I did was hit Debug, and I have my XAML Live Preview right there. You know, my running application's right here, but it's cool to get it side by side, so I could just start coding. All right, so what do we want to do? Well, we don't want to use a frame, like I said earlier, but we want to create a card view, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a border. Now, the border is going to be our card for all intents and purposes. And what I want to do is give it a width request of 300, and I want to give it a height request of 100. And let's just see what happens here when I hit save. Well, right over here, we can see my little borders popped up. If I hover over it, it's very thin. We can see it's 300 by 100 and it's gray, just the default color. Well, we can change that color. If I just say stroke, and I say orange, for example, and hit save. Now we can see that it's orange when I hover over it. We could also give it a stroke thickness, and let's say 4. Now we can really start to see this thing, you know, inside of our XAML Live Preview there. So that gives us, you know, it's not really a card at this point, right? You know, you might want to give it a background color. So we could say a background color of pink. Over here, now we could put some content in there, and a border just takes any piece of content. So you could put stack layout in there, or images, anything like that. And we'll do that here in a few minutes just to kind of get it in there. Now, though, we can do other stuff with it. Now, if we come into our border, we actually have a stroke shape property here. Now, the stroke shape takes in a bunch of different geometry. So if I scroll down here, we have all sorts of ellipse geometry, path geometry, round rectangle, a bunch of different things like this. So you can create rectangles, round rectangles, all this other stuff directly in here. So you can create them inside of this extended property, but I actually just like to use the inline property right here. So you can say stroke shape, and this works really good with hot reload. And I can say round rectangle, okay? Now when I do that, nothing is gonna change because I didn't set any corner radius. So if I set something like 10, hit save, we can now see that we have this nice little corner radius right here. You can see it right there because you can see that it does it there. So if I was to do 40, for example, now it's giving us corner radius on 40 on each side. I could specify, for example, 10 space 40, and now we're getting 10, 40, 10, 40. I could, of course, do like 30 and then 1, and I can get all sorts of different, you know, basically corner radiuses inside of this thing. So that's, you know, top left, right, bottom left, inside of here. Or no, wait, let's do this. Let me just doubly check here. 10, that's 100. Okay, so top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Tricky. So there we go. So now we can do round rectangle. Now that's looking halfway decent at this point, right? Now at this point, I might say, okay, well, let me just do a round rectangle, and I just basically created a card view. But then you're probably saying, well, that's pretty cool, James. What else could you do with it? Well, if I wanted to, there's all sorts of other geometry. So if I wanted to, I don't know, cut out some crazy polygon, I could do like a polygon. Right now I have this crazy polygon with these different shapes, these different things inside of here, and I could start drawing tons of crazy things, right? I'm just like literally cutting out stuff inside of it. Well, we don't want that. We want a round rectangle, right? And that's how we're gonna go ahead and draw over and over again. Now we're getting closer to what we actually want. Inside here, we probably want some sort of, I don't know, shadow, for example. So inside of here, we can actually use the brand new shadow property over here. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to say border dot shadow. I'm going to give it a shadow. Now all I need to do is give it a brush, and let's just say black, for example. And then I can give it an offset, and we'll just say 1, 1, I don't know, that's probably good. And then I'll give it an opacity of 0.8. And just like that, we now have a little tiny, look at that. You zoom in here, look at that. You have this little tiny shadow that we have control over, right? If we really wanted to offset this by like 10, hit save, we're actually gonna get a thicker one, right? So this is the XY offset here. So you are really in this fine grained control of what you want. If you want that to be, you know, red, for example, you can make it red. Right, so you're in real control here. The other nice thing is that this is going to work with things like app theme bindings. So for example, if on your stroke, you wanted to say, well, I want this, for example, to be an app theme binding on light theme, make that blue, and on dark theme, make it black, you know, you can do that. Right now we have blue because I'm over on my light theme. And you could do the same now in your background color, right? So this is also cool. You can say app theme binding, light, let's do orange. This is gonna be crazy because I have all these colors. And I'll say dark, let's make it pink over here. Now I save it, I get orange, right? Now, what's great is that you can also use those predefined resource styles colors over here. So you can use these grays and these brushes. You can do all this stuff here. Now you have your card view that's all set up. Now, beyond that, you may want to put in some content. So I think the cool part is we've created a card. We could put pieces of content in here. So if we wanted to put this hello world in here, we could just put this hello world in here. Now we have hello world, and it's inside of the card, right? Now, beyond that, we could take this border, we could then put it into a custom control view. And then what we can do is go ahead and create like a control template. And I'll link to docs how to do that, but it's very similar to like a component inside of Blazor. So you can actually reuse this border and put content everywhere. But I want to show you one other thing that you might want to do besides creating a card view. You might want to create a circle image, for example. So let's say we had a image of a monkey, for example. So instead of this label here, we have an image of a monkey, and we have our monkey. That's pretty cool. So what we could do is we could go in and we could say, well, let's make this 100, 100. All right. And then what we could do is we could say, let's make this 50 for the round rectangle, just like that. Now we've done is we've cut that circle out. Now we can see our shadow is a little bit funky right here. So in this regard, I'm just going to have to restart the application for that shadow to take advantage of that new custom drawing that's going on. So if you don't see some of that stuff update, just hot reload, you can only do some of the things in there. But let's go ahead and pull this over. And now we can see in our XAML Live preview, if I just zoom in here, there we go. We now have our monkey. And then if we go in and we say, oh, you know, I just want this to be 1, 1. Now it's going to be really close. We want it to be like 10, 1. You know, you can kind of have that fine grained control over your circle images and card views with .NET MAUI. There you go. We're using all brand new APIs to not only create a card view, but also a circle image, all with the border control in .NET MAUI. There's tons of stuff that you can do. I'm going to put links to the documentation below. I just love it. I'm so glad that y'all actually told me and convinced me to use it when I was doing the live stream. I was against it. I was like, I'm using a frame, but this is way more efficient. It gives you more fine-grained control really over making those really elegant, card views and image views and things like this. So when you're applying light theme, dark theme, you want to do different stuff, you can go ahead and use this. Anyways, like I said, I will put links to not only this source code, but put links over into the documentation and documentations on creating those content provider templates that I've talked about in the past. And so is Gerald and a bunch of other people. So you can then take that and make it a reusable component. Hope that you found this video helpful. Tips and tricks as I'm learning. Hopefully you're learning with me and learning some of these really new cool APIs in .NET MAUI. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Leave your comments below on any questions you may have. And of course, don't forget to like this video if you did enjoy it, and go ahead and jam that subscribe button if you want to subscribe to videos that I put out here every single week on my YouTube. All right, that's going to do it for this video. So until next time, thanks for watching.